Now let's see your face. Put your face. I hope that's a good shot. Let's give them a high five.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Daybreak Extra coming to you from our studios right here in Abuja. I'm sure you'll be wondering what that is. Now, I love power bikes, and women, it's one thing that I always wanted to, learn how to ride a power bike, and that's the topic of discussion today. We'll be exploring the world of female power bikers in Nigeria. Today, we'll be looking at the unique stories and challenges and triumphs of women who have redefined and opened road space with strength, passion, and unyielding sense of empowerment. Strap in for an exploration of the extraordinary world where these riders break stereotypes and leave an indelible mark on the landscape of power biking. And we have with us in the studio Lady Ejiro Umukoro, Chief Vision Officer, Lightray Media, and Miss Aisha, flygirl. Yes. Now that's the person you saw riding that bike and coming in. She is the Nigeria's fastest female rider, power biker. Anyone you want to call her. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the sound of the power bike to the ear.
I heard the sound. I wanted to scream.
Exactly. If we are not riding the bike, we're feeling like this. How thrilling is it for you?
It's breathtaking sometimes. It's exhilarating. That's all I can say about that sound.
Oh my God. I just cannot even
Small
imagine.
wars have been started because of bike sounds. Different riders telling you their bike sounds better and all that.
Oh yeah, there is the tuning part of it.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us what inspired you.
It's something I always wanted to do growing up, and my mom, God rest her soul, taught me that never give up on anything you want to do. You want to do something, go for it. And that's how I got into riding motorcycles. Although, while she was alive, she did stop me from riding for a bit.
Yeah, of course, there will always be like that. We know how defensive parents can be in terms of power biking. But I mean, you have the name flygirl. How did you get that name for yourself in a world where men are known to own that territory, especially in Nigeria?
The name flygirl actually I had from college, from aviation school. I'm actually a licensed pilot.
Interesting. Wow.
And that's how flygirl came about, and it followed me into my biking.
So you're not only flying the bike, but also the plane. Interesting.
Why is it always like that? Remember there were this set of guys that came, J Bash, the African, the drifter, yes.
Drifter extraordinaire.
And one of them is a pilot. That's Captain Mahmoud.
Owl.
What? He's a pilot and then he's a drifter. I'm wondering, and they constructed the car that they're using for drifting. So, Ejiro, you're a novice rider. Should I call you that?
Yes,
because you're learning how to
I'm
ride.
a learner. According to the Nigerian standard, I'm a learner.
So, is it Aisha that inspired you, or you just have that passion that you want to be a rider as well?
It's always been. I will take you back memory lane as far back as 2002, 2003, there about 2003-04. I wanted to buy my first vehicular, whatever you want to call it. I was pretty young then. And what I wanted to get was nothing else but a power bike.
Nice.
You see the sound?
Oh my goodness.
The thrill of being on the bike, your ability to be so independent and just enjoy the rush of the air that comes through you. I had sat with a friend who had a power bike. I was behind, of course. I wore the gear, every kit and everything. And I said, you know what? This is my car. I'm not buying any Nigerian or Igbo car. This is my car.
You got inducted.
Exactly. It was exciting. And then I put money together. My first power bike was going to cost me 350K at that time. And every woman I know and guys that I knew then said, you know, well, as in, you are not normal. How will you carry that amount when you can buy a car for that purpose? I'm like, leave that matter. And so that was where my own story began.
Okay, so
beautiful story.
Yeah, you know, Sumaya, I have actually always, I have this friend that I always ride with, and the speed, it's, oh my goodness, I don't know if you've ever done that.
So you've been on a bike?
Oh, I have. I haven't. I wish I'm wearing.
I haven't. I'm still not.
Don't worry. We'll sort that out.
Come over. We have the institute for that.
I would actually want to ride with Aisha. I'm going to ride.
Funny enough, there's actually training schools to teach you how to ride all over the country. There are a few in Lagos. There's one in Abuja, Port Harcourt, Bayelsa. There are quite a few states that have riding schools that teach you from zero to rider.
Oh wow, it's really, you know, it looks thrilling. I mean, the only thing I tried once was being in the car of a drifter. So I felt that. So and when I came, of course, my mom was like, I cannot believe you actually did that. So there is that. But then when it comes to, you know, the society, if there are things that specifically known for, this is a guy doing it, and even the guys, our parents are not really interested in that part. So what were the obstacles you were able to face, and would you say that at this point in your life you've earned that respect as same as the men?
Whether I've earned the respect, I think I'll leave that for you to ask a few male riders that you meet along the way. For me, I think I've earned my respect, which is most important.
Indeed.
Knowing what your self-worth is. And for me, that is knowing that I can do this and do it well. And I've done it safely for many years, over 15 years now, of being a rider and an avid traveler. I've traveled on bikes to different countries and hopes to travel to a different continent sometime soon.
So you see, now that's interesting, because I just saw a female biker that is also, you know, going on a tour with her bike and recording herself.
Yes, itchy boots.
You want to keep correct, you know how.
Aisha is always on point, like she's updated. Oh my God. Okay, so
but that's the joy of it, because there's the beauty of being able to travel on your own with the excitement that goes with it. Imagine she traveling from here to Togo. Do you know what that means? All the way from Calabar to Togo.
Let's not forget the things she would learn along the way.
So how has, you know, being a female biker changed or, you know, impacted on your empowerment sense?
It's been a blessing more than I can say anything else, because coming into any space and showing up as a female on a bike, you would think that your reception would be different. You know, you'd have people who are a bit standoffish about a female, but so far, alhamdulillah, all I have seen is people welcoming the fact that there's a female doing this and asking, this is possible, how do I do it? And a big thing about bikers is that we're heavily involved in charity. I'm a member of a couple of clubs, and one of them that is stationed here in Abuja, 09 Bikers MC, we do charity every month for 12 months in a year.
Wow.
And we've been doing that for 13 years.
Wow.
So there's nothing as good as giving back and using
community.
Yes, and using your bike or your motorcycle to do that.
Of course, it changes the world. You see the excitement when you ride around, and then kids are in that community. That excitement in their faces, you wonder if they're the one riding.
Giving middle-aged, elderly people, you know.
The girls now feel free, because there's so much taboo. I am one person who loves to break taboos. You don't hold me down with taboo. The moment you tell me that this is a taboo, you are forbidden, I am going for that. Because we're all humans. A man, a woman are entitled and privileged to live this life, to enjoy it to its very zenith. And there should be no limitation or social
Let me now ask you this question, Ejiro, right? Thank you for even saying that. Now, in the world where men are actually dominating most of the things that, you know, that have been done or carried out in our society, would you say that, you know, what Aisha and you are doing right now has, you know, maybe kind of changed the stereotype, the gender barrier? Would you say it has broken that?
There's a breaking of the barriers. There's no doubt about it. Then the social construct that we've weaved around women. Often the concern is, how would you dress? So the conversation about the get-up is very important. But many people don't know that you don't need to look sexy when you're on a bike. That's not the moment to be a biking, sexy-looking babe. If you want to pose with a picture, fine.
First of all, be safe.
You have to be safe.
You can be sexy, it's allowed, but most importantly is what you take, what you hold most dear. For me, it's safety more than the outlook. Most times I pass military or police checkpoints, they don't even know I'm a female.
Yes.
Unless they come up close or ask me to take off my jacket and they scream, "Wow, you're a lady." I'm like, "Yes."
I mean, with all of this,
you know, and all that. But to answer to buttress what you said with her is that irregardless of the fact that we're breaking barriers, the men shouldn't feel threatened in any way. There's more than enough space for all of us to thrive.
To grow, yeah.
I know the interesting thing too, it's not only here in Nigeria it's happening. You go to Yemen, as places like Yemen, you're seeing women saying that, you know what, we are breaking the barrier. Religion cannot hold us back.
Yeah, we've seen that. Funny enough, I've come across videos of women even fully covered
and still riding.
There's actually a lady who actually races professionally. And she is Muslim, she's of the faith, and she covers up, and she still races and she wins trophies and all that. So, I mean, we can do what we do and still be respectful.
Maintain your faith. Especially, it's a good thing. Now, I want to ask this question to Ejiro. You know, your story that you told us earlier just gave a full picture of what younger girls would, you know, relate with. This is what I want to do. So, for any young girl out there that is looking at this and say, I want to be like them, how do they start?
So one, she did talk about where there's a training school for anybody. So remove the fear.
Research.
There's no fear. If you want to learn step by step, it's why we have that training institute for that purpose. Just like you go for your typical, what do you call it, car riding.
Yes,
and you have a tutor, a coach, a driving school. That's the proper word. That's the same way you go to the training center
school.
And you'll be trained properly. So there are steps. And then there are materials you need to familiarize yourself with ahead. You'll be inducted more or less. Okay, read this. Look at the terminologies, understand the entire get-up, the reason for it, the principles behind it, the rules and all of that. Those are very important, road rules. For drivers too, you need all the road rules, you know all the signs, what this stands for and all of that. So it's a proper, complete induction and training.
Yes.
But most importantly, we're saying, girls, window shopping is not the only way to have fun. You can actually go and do hiking and biking if you're like myself and Aisha. Come and join me.
So you have now switched from the Ejiro that I know that speaks, you know, the...
No, I'm posh when I need to be.
So when you need to get the message across,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'd like to get this question to Aisha. Through the journey, your journey, you know, on the road, you know, you mentioned that you've traveled to different countries, but by road?
Yeah, by bike.
So please take us through the journey and your experience. I would like to know, are there times that, because it's a risk that you've taken, did you fall, did you get injured? What was it like?
As far as safety, knock on wood, I've not had anything threatening to life happen. I think for the most part, Nigeria still is a pretty safe country that allows tourism to grow, and we have so much potential there that we're not even touching, because this country is so beautiful. But as far as issues on the road, 2 years ago I did have a spill, and I actually had an accident and I broke my hand.
Wow.
I broke my left elbow. But again, being a biker means you're part of a family. I can't emphasize that more. Is that you will be surprised at the amount of people who come and cover you when you have an issue. So I got to experience that 2 years ago, and so many different bikers, I'm sure if you meet them, they'll tell you biking is a community where
And
like
that was
a
your
large
first
extended
fall since you started 15
my first major
years or
fall.
13 years.
Yes, my first major fall.
Still camping on that question. You know, when you're driving, it's like you're driving a car.
Yeah.
You're familiar with this route, so you know what to expect. But then when you travel, you know, around country, you don't know the road. So how were you able to navigate that, you know, unexpected bumps ahead and all?
Navigate, it goes to training also, the amount of training you get, and also knowing your limit and your potential. Don't overdo, don't ride for anybody. You're not riding for any show. You're not in a hurry. You want to, one of the biggest mottos of bikers is the best bikers are the ones who arrive safely.
If she said we are not in a hurry, the sound of it is also a speed on its own, Aisha.
Okay. I mean, the times, you know,
I would love to ask the both of you, just in not you, I'll come to you, Aisha, because she has been in this for a very long time. So are there some modifications, you know, some touches that you've added to your biking style that has made your own style unique?
Yes, I'm very well known.
Because I've seen some of your pictures where you stand and you're like this.
Don't mind all that physio. A lot of training came into all that too. I'm also known for being someone who is very colorful with my kit, my gear. I tend to have it custom made, more so because I want people to know the name Flygirl and know that it is a lady behind the kit. So most of my kits either carry my name or my bike carries my name, so that most times when I stop on the road and they're not sure, they say, are you a lady? Then I show them my arm that says Flygirl. They're like, Flygirl. They're like, and I see, you know, moms and with their kids, some will, if they see my hair somehow sticking out, they come beside and they're like, hey lady, I like you. Keep doing it. And I'm like, thank you, ma'am. And you know, things like that. So we do it to encourage the young, we do it to make the old smile, we do it to make the sick happy and all that. So
do you need to have a particular body type to know how to ride that bike? Because I know it's very heavy.
That's why I say take a Saturday and join me at the riding school here.
I would love to.
I would love to have you as my
Ejiro was
guest.
supposed to take me on a ride.
I would love to have both of you.
I'm not going to join you.
I would love to have both of you as
we
my
have
guests.
to bring it back to our viewers for them to know.
No problem. I would love to have you guys as my guests, or even better still, invite you to one of our charities where we actually ride to different locations and do goodwill.
So I'm going to get ready.
All right, Ejiro, let's talk about, you know, riding. For the years that you've started, how would you say it has impacted, you know, changed your life personally and professionally?
It goes with who I am. First, I am a very risky-taking person. I love high-impact activity. I enjoy stretching my limits.
Our parents will call it reckless, though.
Well, they call it reckless. I don't really care.
I was going to let her land first.
I really don't, because I know there are consequences, and that's the thing. I am not afraid of the consequences because they will come. The thing is, I now prepare myself to make sure that, one, even if there will be consequences, it should not be an outcome I don't desire. So that's why she talks about safety is number one. So my sense of safety is important, is key. That is very well drained in. And then when it comes to keeping fit, because it's about stamina, it's about strength, it's about capacity to be able to be in charge of the given situation. So leadership is a skill that you actually develop while you are learning bike. You learn how to work as a team. It's a teamwork, you know, take care of each other, quite
when
responsible.
you're riding in a group.
Exactly.
You have to learn how to know who's leader, know who's sweeper, who's your RC.
Who's a bit weaker
and know where to place the weaker rider so that everybody in the pack looks out for that person.
That's a beautiful thing. Aisha, now let's head on to the machine. I want to talk about that power, you know, machine. How, first of all, are they different type of, you know, bikes? Just like we see cars and we're like, oh, there is this one. And how can one recognize?
And which one is for what kind of racing and what
the
not?
capacities, they range from 50 cc's to 1,800 cc's and all that.
Interesting.
And for beginners, you know, they're pocket rockets that you see people use for mini races and stuff like that. But averagely for beginners, between a 150 to 250, max of 400 cc is recommended, depending on your size and all that. And then for experts, you know, 400 to 600 or 900 is recommended, so you hone in your skills. The most important thing is don't do more than yourself. Don't go to the school and see maybe a smaller body frame person. Or most times what I get is I go to the riding school, my main bike is a 1,250. And I arrive at the riding school in my bike, and for lack of a better word, I make it all look so cool. And a guy who's training on a 250 says, I'm going to buy that bike as soon as I get out of ring. And I tell them, bros, it's not by like that. So don't let a smaller body frame or a different gender make you do more than yourself. Acquire the required skill to make you an expert.
I am eager to ask you questions, three questions in one.
Go ahead.
So the first one is, how fast can you go?
Oh, wow.
And then second is, how many bikes do you have? Because you didn't start now, because I can see different types, and you know, and then
I think let's her take it before you finish the question in one, and then she'll forget to answer one.
All, you know, and that's why I'm taking them one after the other. So, first, how fast can you go?
For lack of a better word, I participated in Nigeria's Bikers Trophy, which was our version of MotoGP here in Nigeria, and I came second runner-up in a racetrack. So I will let your imagination run wild.
But what is the safest speed one should maintain, especially for beginners?
Whatever you're comfortable with. That is the best answer. If I give you a number, you'll find people trying to
go beyond,
whose skill are not up to it, wanting to go beyond that so that they can say, oh, I went beyond what flygirl said on TV. No. Know your strength. Stick with your strength. Hone your skills.
So is it the same, you know, riding the normal bikes that we know and the power bike?
Every instructor will tell you Okada is not the same as a power bike.
It's Okada.
Yes, it's an Okada.
Okada, remember the
gearing
word.
is different. That's why I have people who come up to me and say, I want to buy a bike. Have you ridden a power bike before? No, but I've ridden Okada. In my village, I was the best Okada rider.
But is it okay to learn how to ride Okada?
Yes, you have to.
It will be kind of basic for you.
There's steps you have to go through when you learn. The most encouraged one is learn how to ride a bicycle first, so you get balance. Then learn how to ride, quote unquote, an Okada, so you learn motion and gear changing, telling your mind when to change the gear before you go into a power bike, so that you're able to control the transition. So that is always recommended.
Okay, so the second question is, how many bikes do you have?
Oh, yes, you did mention.
I actually own one bike, but because I'm also a bike dealer, I have several bikes. I have a company called FG Bikes that came about because I got tired of...
It's a fly girl thing.
Yes, I got... Actually, FG Bikes does not mean fly girl. I got tired of women when they want to purchase bikes, you know, getting all kinds of stigma from men dealers, or getting bad bikes, side comments, or bikes that they assume that they will not know the quality or the integrity of the bike, mainly because they're female. Give them anything, all they will find.
Indeed. Well, that is another thing that would definitely give kudos to you on that one. I mean, it's all about women now helping women. Is the way, you know.
And because of that, we actually have a all-female motorcycle club.
Nice, beautiful.
Called the Amazons that encourages women.
Speaking about the club, Amazon, that's a powerful name. Speaking about the clubs, now I wanted to say, you mentioned communities.
Yes.
You know, you're creating your own communities to do. Is there some kind of, say, race riders competition that you create between different clubs in Nigeria?
The clubs tend to not want to compete while riding because it's sometimes not everybody is a healthy competitor. So we leave that away from clubs so that it doesn't start any kind of stigma or animosity. But there are different shows that are created by individuals all over the years that you have to come and show your slum riding, how you control a bike at a very slow pace without putting your foot on the floor. So we have different events all through the year. There's a biking calendar that comes out in January that tells you all the different events from January all the way to the end of the year. So you find different ones that you have the spare time or you have the availability, you attend.
So aside from both of you, I know Ejiro, because she has been on our shows on different occasions, so I know her to be a media personality. But then you just mentioned that you're a pilot as well.
By profession, by training.
Nice. So is that the only thing you do, or the bike thing is your main source of?
The bike thing is my main source. I'm also a farmer. I'm also a bit of a mechanic head, so I tend to fix my bikes majority of the time.
So this is the right person for you.
And that skill set is important to have, because when you're able to know how to understand the technicality of your bikes, it gives you an edge in managing yourself as well.
And that stems off of years of riding on trips alone.
Correct.
I always used to travel alone until about a few years ago when I moved to Abuja and I became full part of the 09 MC, I always traveled mostly alone across country and across country. Yeah, across country and stuff like that.
And were you able to document the countries and places
there are quite a few videos running around online.
Did you start the bikeathon, like they started the cookathon, and people saw you on the street?
Is that what you're talking about?
No. There's some things that should be left far away from power biking. And I think one of those thorns is...
because, you know, like, that's how people document. And then when you start a journey, and you put it on social media, people tend to follow up.
But kudos to females doing big things. We have one female who went to 12 countries. She's also a custom officer. She's a female biker who used to be here in Abuja, but I think she's around. She's in Abuja or Lagos, and she went to 12 countries from Nigeria, Togo, Namibia, all the way to Liberia and back.
Was it 12 or 20? I saw it on social media.
No, it was 12.
Okay. And thank you for mentioning. So how many countries have you been to?
Maybe five or six.
And how many months? Is it up to how
Not
many?
months. It takes you about days. I mean, anything outside of Nigeria to me is about hours ride.
Wow. I have another question for you.
So
in
where
terms of this,
close about when you said days, because I was actually thinking.
Now, first of all, if I am sitting in my car, I'm dragging all the pillows and all that to rest my lower back. How are you people able to cope with that, especially for a long trip?
Well, again, from the riding school, you determine the kind of rider you are. And the kind of rider you are actually progresses the number of years you've been riding. Most people, when they see power bike, the first thing that comes to their mind is sport bikes. The ones where you crouch down completely and you look like a rocket that's about to take off. So it's understandable when you start riding. But the more you progress, the more you have distance, you realize that biking is more about comfort and scenery and enjoying the beautiful things around you, the beautiful country, and touring Nigeria. So you get upright bikes, like the one I came in on is like a sports tourer, so it's a bit more upright. It still gives you the power. There's another bike, it's called a GS, it's an adventure bike. That gives you upright and you can go into the worst kind of terrain. Road is not an option and all that for you. So it depends on the kind of rider you are.
It's a beautiful thing. Now I want to see this through Ejiro's eyes. Ejiro, let's talk about your own journey from, you know, the 2003, 2004 that you started at this. How would you say that thrill has been for you? Would you say you have accomplished exactly what you wanted from the first day you saw a power bike and said, I want that?
Okay. So here's where my own gets trickier. So that journey started. And then I had this very close friend in Port Harcourt. I mean, I was hiking, I was riding other kinds of vehicle because I'm that kind of person, speed riding and everything. And then I had this friend, Tonye Harry. The very week I wanted to buy my power bike, an incident happened to him. And that affected me because he was a personal friend. So I took a break. And since I took a break, I knew there's a part of me that was not complete. And then I came to Abuja and I reignited all of that. And it has been so exciting. In fact, I'm telling women, you know, I mentor women, I train young people, and I'm telling them, redefine your kind of fun, entertainment, hobbies, and activities that your extracurriculars. They don't need to be only reading. I'm a reader, I'm a writer, I'm an author. That's one aspect. But what else am I? I'm a trainer, I'm a media personality, I do so many things. That's another aspect of me. Do I cook very well? I cook, I bring people around, we eat fantastic meals. Do I bring together events? Yes, I do all of that and so much more. I mentor people within Nigeria, outside Nigeria. But in these trainings, there's something I'm deliberately incorporating that has to do with your mental health. Because there's a connection between the freedom to experiment, to test your mind, to stretch it beyond its current limits that riding a bike does to you. And biking, hiking, all of these extra outdoor activities, they are quite good for stimulating your mind, connecting your synapses, reawakening in you something you never thought was possible. And that is the ability to take a risk, run with it, face the outcome, come back again, try again, and incorporate that into your daily activities and in business activities.
You know, if you give Ejiro, she's going to tell him now tomorrow morning.
A typical example is this: learning a bike. How we see someone learn a bike, you fall, you brush your knee, you get up and continue. So Aisha, again, that's thrilling. I have another question too for Ejiro. 1 minute, please. Okay. Talking about this, what would you say has been the narrative of female bikers that you think it should be changed now in 2024?
One, the unnecessary bias against women who are female bikers, and then calling them names, and then saying, you need to see what others they do. You've forgotten that there are 7 billion people, and 7 billion people are never alike. So why do you insist that somebody else, do you get to be like that? And then there's this thing about religion, and then the definition of what is modest dressing on biking. And like we've used the examples that we've talked about. Look, it's about safety first. And so a woman on a power bike knows that after the training, she's supposed to gear up properly. So stop worrying about that. Then the social construct regarding you will not look like marriageable material. I've heard comments like that, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The one person you should be having with you is a woman who has that kind of audacity and the dare to do that. You know, the level of confidence. You know what it takes to do that?
Strong men would appreciate it.
Oh, they do. That's the one thing I just discovered. So when we see men who react, that we try not to say they are weak men,
very few,
but they're not as much as that you say, because they will cheer you on. But I've seen circles where we attempted to raise some girls, that was in Delta State, for example, and there was this conversation, I beg other things day, must it be this one? And that kind of limits people's interest. But we're telling you, ladies, the only limitation to you is your decision not to take that attempt.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay, so, I actually want Aisha to answer this question for me. I would like for you to evaluate the female biking community in Nigeria, and then from your experience, I would like for you to tell us or share what you think the government can do to actually, fund or push for more female bikers so that they can partake in, some competitions within and outside the country, like you travel all the way. What would you say? How will you evaluate the participation of women in the biking community and what the government can do?
Participation of women in the biking community, I think, has been applaudable because they're trying. They're doing their best. They're coming out. They're getting the training. They're learning the right gear. They're understanding that it's not about the yanga. It's about the ride, it's about the safety, it's about the community. So that has been going, it's growing. It's the community, female community in biking is growing. I am extremely, to sit down and be one of those who's been riding for 15 years at this particular point in time, I am proud. As far as what the government can do, not just the government, I think even individual companies. Why aren't women female bikers endorsed? Why aren't they ambassadors of your companies, of your parastatals, of your... Why? Why are you scared?
Why are you... Okay, now that is a challenging question. Why are you scared? But lastly,
people are scared of the unknown, of your familiar.
We know how the constructs when they decide.
Guess what? There are women who ride. I'm a licensed pilot. There are women who are medical doctors, military personnel, lawyers, mothers, housewives. You have a basket of fantastically minded women there to help you reach the average Nigerian. Why are you scared? That's all I have to ask.
It's a beautiful question. Okay, lastly, quickly because of time. What is the importance of women, visibility and the importance of them being in the motorcycle or motorcyclist, community and industry? Tell us how important it is. That way, the necessary stakeholders will take on this message for us to spread bring in more women into this industry.
It is very important because I believe that women are your mothers, your sisters, your daughters. Why don't you want to see them do what makes them happy? If this gives you an air of comfort, and like she was talking about mental health, I think I am most at peace when I take a ride. I am somebody who goes through the daily rigmaroles of the country, of life, of family. And taking that ride brings me back down to my peaceful space. So why would you want to stop that?
That's a beautiful
So
one.
Aisha is not just a pilot or a biker, she's also a poet.
And a farmer.
She made that. All right, quickly, Ejiro, last words on what we discussed today.
Hey girls, hey women, there is no age limit to learning how to ride a bike.
Oh no, there is not.
If you've never confronted your fear before 2023, and this year is the year you want to confront your fear, just hold on to this.
Take a helmet. The
Like,
helmet is
that's it. It just goes in and you do,
You know? My mom doesn't. I told her I'm going to buy a power bike, and she said, "Not in this house, Mama. I'm sorry, I'll buy a power bike."
And for anyone who wants to learn how to ride, reach out to me on Instagram at flygirl AII.
Of course,
I will direct you to the training school, and when you're done, I would love to ride with you.
That would be a beautiful thing. Thank you so much.
You're very
Beautiful and talented ladies for joining us this morning. Thank you so much, Ejiro Umukoro, Chief Vision Officer, Lightray Media. Thank you for joining us today. And Miss Aisha, flygirl Vatsa. I hope I pronounced the Vatsa well. Thank you so much. The Nigeria's fastest female rider. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.